Well, greetings, my dear friends and fellow patriots, and all of you truth seekers worldwide. How is everybody today on this absolutely fabulous 18th day of December in the year of our Lord 2020? Well, friends, listen. You know it's a great day to be alive. God bless America. God bless every one of you wherever you are, not just here in America, but around the world. Because what we're witnessing is a global event. It is not just restricted to the United States, albeit we are in the fight for our lives. Friends, we are up against it. It looks like all the demonic forces from hell have arrayed themselves against us at this very time. But you see, I'm a visionary. I see things into the future. I really do. I visualize. When I want to create something, I use that proverbial law of attraction. It really works. If you focus very clearly and succinctly on what it is you want to accomplish, it will happen. And then when you start to use the powers of heaven and you pray about what it is that you want to occur, then when it does occur, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be much better than you could possibly ever imagine. Now, I had an experience today that I have got to share with y'all. It is a great story. It is a powerful story. It is a true story. And I think many of you will get something out of it. So let me go back in time to October 2019. I'm on my way back to Boise, Idaho. I'm sitting in the Denver airport. I've got a couple-hour layover. It's a Sunday afternoon, and Alex Jones is starting his show. And so I had my earbuds in with my little microphone, and Alex, right as the show came on, he blurted out the phone number to call in, and he said on that particular Sunday, he was especially looking for veterans. He wanted veterans to call in. Well, for kicks and grins, I just dialed in the number on my smartphone. Well, lo and behold, the phone started to dial. And the next thing I know, Alex Jones's producer came on the line and he said, "Hey, who am I talking to and where you're calling from?" And I was like dumbfounded. I did not expect to dial straight through to that show because it's almost impossible to dial in, right? All right, so I got right through. I said, "Oh, well, this is Steve. I'm from Boise. I'm a retired Marine, and I want to talk." I think the subject was Syria or something. But then Alex Jones popped on the damn line so fast that it startled me. And I had said to myself years ago, I said, if I ever have the good fortune of being on the Alex Jones show, I said, one of the things I want to do is I want to tell the world about Living Defense. I want to tell them about what this amazing product did for, with Dashawa Steve Sharodess. I want to tell the world how this product changed my life because I believe everybody out there, I don't care whoever you are right now watching this video, you've got parasites. Whether you think you do or not, it doesn't matter, you do. Well, do you eat meat? Have you ever eaten meat in your life? Okay, you got parasites. But especially if you eat fish, now, if you eat sushi, forget about it. Your body is riddled with microscopic parasites. You could have some even bigger than that. But let me tell you, there are a lot of parasites that are living inside your body that shouldn't be there. All right, now here's my story. I had suffered digestive issues, severe digestive issues for 6 years. Every test I took at the VA came back negative. They test my gallbladder. They test my liver. They test one thing after another. Everything checked out fine. Nobody could figure out what the hell was wrong with my gut. All right, let's fast forward to 2016. January 2016, I go into the VA hospital for a 6-month stay. I'm restricted to a wheelchair. While I was in there, one of the few things that got me through that prison sentence was listening to the Alex Jones show 3 hours a day. Well, at that particular time in 2016, they were talking all about this living defense. And Dr. Group, he would come on, and he's from MIT. He's a genius scientist. He's the formulator of this stuff over in Utah. Well, anyway, he would come on and explain it. And finally, after hearing this about 100 times, repetition being the mother of learning, I broke down and ordered a couple bottles. Well, when it came in, I had to hide it from my doctors and nurses because they don't want you taking anything except the prescription drugs that they've got you on. Well, I've never been really a conformist, so I started taking this stuff every day, twice a day. And let me tell you, friends, the things that came out of my body were something like out of Star Wars. It was freaky. But anyway, I became a believer because all of that internal pain in my gut, it went away. And so I bought another 2 bottles. I took 2 more bottles right behind those other 2, and I added to it this stuff called Micro ZX. Now, you could say, Steve, why are you advertising for Alex Jones? I'll tell you why. Because I love and care about you. And if I didn't think I don't get anything. Alex Jones don't give me no damn kickback on these products. I have to share these products because I would be guilty of criminal negligence if I didn't. If I withheld information about such life-changing products from you, I don't care what you do with the information, but I would be remiss if I wasn't willing to share information with you that literally changed my life. And if it changed my life for the better, could it possibly change yours? I don't know. That ain't mine to figure out. My obligation is to share knowledge and information that can change lives. And there's no telling where. I bet you, Alex, well, anyway, I don't want to jump to the gun, but let me tell you a story. So I called in, gave a testimonial about the living defense, and it was very powerful. Well, I ran out of time, and so I had to get off the line. But the next day, I tuned into the show, and he and his people had made up an infomercial with my voice, with my testimonial. And he came on the air a couple days later, and he said, oh my God, he said, that little infomercial we did with Steve, the retired Marine that called in from Boise to tell us his story, we've sold all the product off the shelf. And so, that was in October of 2019. And then so this past Monday, I turned on Alex, as I always do, at 10 o'clock out here in the morning. And on there, he started running that advertisement from a year ago. And he announced that they had just received a brand new 18-wheeler load of living defense into their warehouse, and that they were anxious to move it all out before Christmas. So on Monday, when I heard that, man, I started trying to get in touch with Alex Jones. Let me tell you, that dude is very well insulated. I don't know how. I don't have his direct number. I don't have his email. So I set out to try. I made up a little video on my video email account. And I told him, I said, hey, man, this is Steve Motley. I'm the guy from the infomercial last year. I've been trying to get in touch with you. I want to come on your show and give you an update and hopefully help you sell some more of that product. And I never could get a hold to him. So then last night, Thursday night, I'm very frustrated. I'm thinking, this was like, I thought when I heard that infomercial with my voice on it last Monday, I felt like that was God speaking to me saying, Steve, now's the time to reach out to Alex. You can possibly help him sell more product before Christmas. But at the same time, you just need to get on there. You need to let your voice be heard. People need to know who you are because you got a lot to offer kind of thing. And I felt very strongly that that was the answer to my prayer. But again, last night I'm very frustrated, and then I went to bed, and I decided, I knew Alex was starting his new show today, early this morning. You know, David Knight is no longer with InfoWars. So the new program is called American Journal. And I'm actually going to put that name in the subject of this video because I don't want to get flagged. And if I put InfoWars or something like that, you know. So I don't want to take that chance. So I'm going to go ahead and label this. I hope this video will make its rounds. I want to commend all of you who have recently found me again. I hope that me putting my website, retiredmarinesoundsoff.com, as well as my new podcast, which is truenewspodcast.com, I hope putting those two out on the airwaves today will generate a lot of positive feedback, because most of you know by now that on Black Friday, a few weeks ago, I lost my YouTube channel of 4 years and about 50,000 subscribers. Notice I got my InfoWars Truth Bomb shirt on today, and I'll tell you why I'm wearing this today in just a second. So anyway, I went to bed last night and I said a little prayer. I said, "Dear God, I really feel like I'm supposed to be on Alex's show tomorrow, you know, but I know you're the ones going to have to open the doors and make it happen." So here's what I did. I got up early, took a shower, got dressed, came in, checked my mail, did a few things, and I said, okay, I found the number to dial into the show, and Alex was just wrapping up I think he did a 2-hour show this morning. But anyway, he was wrapping that up, getting ready to start his new show, but he had about 10 or 12 callers that he had told his producer and people to call back. And he wanted to, when he got over to the other show, he wanted to go through those calls and close that out before he started taking any other new calls. So something prompted me, go start dialing right now. So I dialed the number and it went through. It wasn't a busy signal, it went through, and it rang maybe 10 times and then it popped off. And I went, oh my God. So I dialed it again, it went through again. Well, about the 4th time I dialed that number, the producer of the show answered. And we got to talking. He wanted to know who I was. I told him. I said, I'm the living defense guy that called in a year ago and spoke to Alex, gave that strong testimonial, which y'all are using right now in your current infomercial. But I'd like to come on and talk to Alex and kind of give you an update on living defense, and then, you know, wherever it goes from there. And he goes, oh, okay, that's great. He said, hang on a minute, Alex will be with you shortly. And, you know, I probably waited maybe 15, 20 minutes as Alex went through all those other calls. See, I like that about Alex. He tells these people he'll call them back. He calls them back. Puts them on the line. They come on. They say their piece. You know, he's a man of his word. And so I found out that I was the first caller of the noon show. You know, his show that starts at 11 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock out here Mountain. Well, I was the very first caller on that show. Now, are you going to tell me there wasn't some serious divine intervention to make that happen? What are the chances of being, well, I was the first caller a year ago. That was the first one he picked up. Same thing this year. But what a blessing to be on that show on a Friday. That means it gets looped over and over throughout the weekend. Maybe all the way through Saturday. I don't know. It should. I hope he's going to make some more new updated infomercials after I called in and gave my testimonial. But friends, you know, I was thinking today, I'm literally a product of this product. And again, I don't get any royalties. I don't get any kickbacks. I do it out of the goodness of my heart because I can't imagine the experience that I had with this product and getting rid of the parasites. See, they never tested me at the VA for parasites. It wasn't in their normal repertoire. So all this time, I could have been healed by taking Living Defense and getting rid of all the those nasty creatures that inhabit your body if you eat certain things. So anyway, I got on there, Alex and I think it was magical. I really do. That's what several people sent me a text and said. But we had a great time. I hope and pray the people out there will listen. I told them, I said, get you 2 bottles of Living Defense and get you 2 bottles of Micro ZX. I said, this gets rid of the yeast and the candida. And, I learned that that's kind of a follow-up to this. But I did 2 bottles and then I did 2 more bottles. I was determined I was going to get every one of them damn creatures out of my system, and I did. And I use this now about every 6 months. I do a good cleanse, but see, I no longer eat meat. But nevertheless, I'm going to hedge my bet. I'm not taking any chances. And I'm going to do what I got to do. But we had a great conversation. I wish I could have got into some politics, but here's the key, friends. Alex Jones, the man himself, invited me to come back on his show. He said, Now what I do here on these videos, for those of you that are new, a lot of you may have heard about my domain name, Retired Marine Sounds Off. Maybe that's how you landed here. God bless you. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Don't judge a book too quickly by its cover. I would ask you to give me a couple opportunities, a couple chances to win your trust and your loyalty. I had 50,000 subscribers on my other channel that was just completely terminated, obliviated by YouTube on Black Friday. What a day to lose your YouTube channel. But anyway, I'm in the process of rebuilding. I got an alternative YouTube here, and I hope more and more people will subscribe. I hope a lot of my old listeners from my other channel heard me on InfoWars, or maybe pass the word to your friends. But I'm really trying to rebuild that channel. And at the same time, I launched this podcast on the 1st of December. You can get to it by going to truenewspodcast.com. I think I've done 7 or 8 episodes, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm trying to keep the podcast to around an hour, maybe a little more. I'm getting some real good, favorable comments back from everybody. So, I'm really, really happy. And of course, I told Alex today I've had coming on the Alex Jones show and speaking and being able to share some knowledge with the people has been on my bucket list for a long time. I've been listening to Alex Jones since I was on active duty, well over 20 years ago. And I discovered, I tell everybody, I discovered Alex and Dr. Michael Savage in the same week. Now, if I could ever get on the Michael Savage show, that would be a blessing too. But, my main goal was Alex Jones. I don't know who has the bigger audience. I would imagine Alex does now. But it's just like I would love to get on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. I was a faithful, I still listen to a lot of recorded Coast to Coast, but that's one of my favorite shows. I've met George a couple times through the years at expos. I've met a lot of Danian Brinkley. I met Danian, oh my God. I went to when I started to awaken, I came out of a 40-year organized, very strict religion, and I started to have a wake-up call and read a few books, started connecting some dots, and just decided I really didn't need the man-made religion thing anymore. But I decided I wanted to be a truth seeker. And I did. I've traveled. I've literally traveled the world. I've studied with gurus. I've studied with shamans. I've done the ayahuasca in both Brazil and Peru. I've been there, done that. I've tried to. And the reason I did ayahuasca was David Icke. Let me tell you, I met in October of 2003, I went to a weekend metaphysical spiritual retreat in Charlotte, North Carolina. It was hosted by a North Carolina radio personality by the name of Alan Handelman. I had never been to anything like that before, but I heard on one of Alan's radio shows that they were going to have this big get-together in Charlotte on this particular weekend in October. So I decided to go. I bought the tickets online. I went. Now let me just tell you some of the personalities that were at this event. You got David Icke. He physically flew there. You got Jim Mars. Rest in peace, Jim. One of the best investigative journalists ever. He wrote the book called Crossfire that Oliver Stone used when he made the movie JFK. Okay, that's who the kind of people that were there, and he was a wonderful soul. Jim Mars. I've read every book Jim Mars has ever written, and I give him great credit. They say anybody that ever figures out things in life, they stood on the shoulders of giants. Well, I've stood on the shoulders of Alex Jones for 20 years. Even though he's younger than me, the things that he's taught me are invaluable. And the guests that he's brought on his show that I've been introduced to and that I still read their books and follow them today. And, some of them have fallen by the wayside. I asked myself, where's Lionel? Why has Lionel not come on the Alex Jones show lately? Is it because Alex just hasn't reached out and invited him? Or is it because now that Lionel has about 225,000 followers on YouTube, does he no longer need the InfoWars platform? Is he scared? Is Lionel gun shy to go on that show because of so much heat that Alex has taken? Well, I don't fear men in any capacity. And so I've wanted to go on, like I said, try it all week. But when I got through on that line this morning, I knew it was a God thing. And Alex recognized early on during our conversation it was a God thing too. Now, I hope and pray all that Living Defense sells off that shelf this weekend. Friends, if you're looking to start the new year off right, go to InfoWarsStore.com and order you at least 2 bottles. These things make great stocking stuffers. Why not give the gift of health and wellness this season? Well, everybody's got parasites. How about getting a bottle and start getting those critters out of your body? How about Alex takes this once a year and loses 10, 20 pounds or more. When you start getting rid of those toxins, man, amazing things happen. Yes, I am very passionate about Living Defense. Call me Mr. Living Defense. I don't care. But I am going to share my story. I'm going to share my testimonial with as many people as I can. Now, after I started using the Living Defense and the Micro ZX, sure, I got some X2. Are you kidding me? Everybody on planet Earth should be taking nascent iodine. You won't find a better product than X2. I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to wait and tell it on Alex Jones' show about X2 and my 15-year-old grandson that it's almost unbelievable, but it is true. And truth, as all of you know, has a certain vibrational frequency. It has a certain resonance. I right now am the transmitter. I'm transmitting information out through the airways to you wherever you are in this beautiful blue-green orb called Earth. And God bless you, by the way, for taking time out of your busy schedule to press that play button. Some of you may be brand new, and you may be saying, I don't know about this old dude. Has he really got anything to offer of value? Well, stick around. Stick around a while. You know what my mission is? I'm a citizen journalist of sorts. I sift and sort through all the BS, fake news media, all of the minutia, and I try to get behind this camera and tell y'all some truth that you can, connect the dots on. For example, right now, as we speak, our president is meeting in the Oval Office with Chris Miller, the acting Secretary of Defense. I'm sure Edgar Cohen Watnick is there. I'm sure that all the other new people that President Trump has installed, well, these people make up the war cabinet. He has formed an emergency war cabinet, and he is moving that group of leaders out of D.C. He has told all personnel, except for the most essential, within the White House, he's telling people in D.C., get out of there. Get out of D.C., go hang out somewhere for a week, 2 weeks at Christmas, and then watch and see what happens and act accordingly, okay? And I'm telling you that we just experienced the biggest cyber attack in the history of America. The experts are calling this the Pearl Harbor of cyber attacks. Now, you're hearing all of the fake news media try to tell you, try to convince you that Russia is in on this cyber attack. I've got one thing to say to that. Poppycock. It's the Russian delusion. President Putin and President Trump are friends. They have one major thing in common, and that is they hate the globalists. They hate the deep state. One of the reasons the deep state hates Russia so much is that Putin will not allow his banks to be taken over by the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. The Federal Reserve International Banking Cabal is not welcome in Russia. Therefore, that makes them the arch enemy of the deep state, the guys like John Brennan, the rogue elements of the CIA, etc. Well, guess what? The buck stops here with President Donald Trump. Now, many of you are concerned right now. You're discouraged. You don't know what to think about this President-elect Joe Biden. Let me stop you right there. There is no such a thing as President-elect Joe Biden. This is the wishful thinking of all 7 major news outlets, to include Fox News. The only place you're going to get the truth is places like InfoWars.com, Band.video.com, RetiredMarineSoundsOff.com, TrueNewsPodcast.com. Friends, these alternatives say, oh, here's something for you. Now, listen, I hate to even do this, but I'm going to because I want to show you just how bad it is. I have a website. I call it a labor of love. When I first started my YouTube channel, I would get a lot of emails and text messages from people, and they would say, Steve, I love your show. I'm so glad I stumbled into you. Thank you for what you do. Who else do you recommend? Who are people that you would tell us to check out? So I started sending emails back and forth, and I said, wait a minute. This is freaking insanity. I can't keep emailing all these people, telling them I'm going to go out and build a damn website. So I did. I found this program. I built a really nice website, but it got hacked by the black hats, and they messed it all up. But thanks be to goodness, a couple of patriots, to include a former Army intelligence officer from, I think, Connecticut. He was able to salvage my here'syourredpill.com. That's the name of it. Write it down. Grab a pen. Here'syourredpill.com. Anyway, go there if you want to, but it's in shambles. Well, now when I say it's in shambles, I have over 100 Patriot YouTube channels listed. Now, they don't all go to YouTube. Some of them go to BitChute. Some of them go to Brighteon, different places. But when I started out, they were almost all primarily YouTube. And I've had to rework it. I've had to delete some people that I found out were more troublemakers than they were patriots. And crazy things like that. But the fact is this, YouTube did a big purge over the last couple months. And I went in the other day and just quickly counted 51. I counted 51 YouTube channels. I'm talking about guys that had hundreds of thousands of followers like X22. You can no longer, if you go to here's your red pill, go down and click on X22, it'll say this site no longer exists. If you, at the very beginning of Here's Your Red Pill, you'll see a write-up by me. When you go to click on my link that should take you to my YouTube channel, it's a dead link. Well, Steve, why don't you redirect it to your new site? No, I wanted this to be like Pearl Harbor. I wanted my website to be a place that people could see and they could click on the skeletons of once thriving YouTube channels that have just gone up in smoke, as mine did a few weeks ago on Black Friday. I had had 2 strikes against me at YouTube for the longest time, and I was hanging on by my fingernails, and then all of a sudden they said, that's it, you violated community guidelines, whatever the hell that is, for the last time, and we're removing your account from YouTube. Thank you very much. It hurts when it's like getting gut punched. 4 years, 50,000 subscribers, 7 million YouTube views. Are you kidding me? You don't think that hurts? I can only imagine what it was like for X22 and James Munder and SGT Report. What's her name? The blonde-haired lady from Canada. I can't remember. It starts with an A, though. But so many people have been, just canned because we were patriots. Alex Jones said years ago when he started getting banned, he said, friends, you're next. He said, don't worry. If you're a truth seeker, if you're out here trying to pass on the information from us, and, things like that, your days are numbered. Well, when it happened to me, I had to rethink everything. I had to regroup. I had to figure out, where do I go from here? Do I start all over? Well, I had another YouTube channel, so I just decided to get everything off of that and start making videos again, see what I could do. So retiredmarinesoundsoff.com, that goes straight to my new YouTube. Please go there, subscribe to it, share my videos far and wide if you like. But also, I want you to go to my podcast. I'm having a blast with this podcast. And, they're shorter in nature, but they're powerful. And I did one last night. I got 2 podcasts. I've got the TrueNewsPodcast.com, or I'm calling it Retired Marine Sounds Off, because it's apples and oranges. I got the YouTube account. I got the podcast account. I got picked up on iTunes the other day. I'm really excited about it. I think the podcast has got a lot of potential. Because, truth has that certain resonance about it. A bunch of you folks, you stumble into my stuff. You go, how the hell did I end up here? Most of the people that find me on YouTube, they stumble in. They're 18-wheeler driver. They're driving down the big freeways of America. They're going through YouTubes. All of a sudden, they see this crazy retired Marine on there with the truth bomb shirt, American flag, Trump sticker up there. They go, who the hell is this guy? Has he got anything really to say? Well, stick around. If you start getting a few vignettes of knowledge here and there, you might want to come back for more. You never know. But friends, I'm going to tell you, this Operation Warp Speed, I ain't thinking too highly of it. We found out just recently that Pfizer, one of the companies that is instrumental in this vaccine, you got GlaxoSmithKline and AstraZeneca. All 3 of those big pharmaceutical giants in America have, guess what? They've been hacked. They've been infiltrated by the Chinese. Friends, we are in the middle of a communist Chinese takeover. It's a coup attempt. And there's been so much Chinese money thrown into getting Biden to where the major media telling you are president-elect. Well, let me tell you, President-elect Joe Biden tried to get access to the Pentagon to start getting briefs during this transition, and the Trump administration said no, not only no, but hell no. Joe Biden is not the damn president-elect. So as many times as you dumbasses want to keep saying it like a damn broken record, what do you think? You think it's like open sesame? You think if you say it enough, you're going to have it come true? You think it's going to materialize in front of your damn face? No, it's not. You're not going to get your way. Joe Biden will never be president of the United States of America, not on my damn watch. Why do you think President Trump is having the inaugural stage built? Joe Biden has already announced he's going to do a virtual inauguration. He's not going to. Well, President Trump is building the damn podium because he knows he's going to be the one inaugurated. Listen, we've got so many options. People keep getting on this damn fake media and they say, well, we've got one option left. Or we got three. No, bullshit. Let me tell you something, friends. Listen carefully to me. The founding fathers of this nation, the creators of the Constitution of the United States, they planned for just such events. They knew that one day tyrants, traitors may rise up and try to usurp all power and take over the executive branch, the Supreme Court. Look, the Supreme Court made the decision that they made because it's now come out very clearly there were many people on the other side of the wall that heard every bit of the conversation that was had between all members of the Supreme Court. There were only two, Alito and Clarence Thomas, who said, listen, we can't roll over and do this. And then Roberts, that son of a gun, that freaking snake in the grass traitor Roberts, he came out and said, what do you want to do, have your house blown up? We can't have our houses blown up. We're not going to decide on this. Let the local courts do whatever, but we are not going to go there. You understand? So it was 7-2. 7-2. Did the Supreme Court let down we the people? Did they let down the Constitution? Yes. They've lost all credibility in my eyes, but that ain't much. I'm just a small fish in a big ocean. But today, when I was able to call in and speak directly with Alex Jones and tell more of my story, talk more about living defense, it was a glorious day for me. And I asked Alex, I said, listen, man, I just got my big YouTube channel terminated. I started it in the first place in great measure having to do with you and your challenge to all of us veterans to start our own YouTube channels. Well, that's what I did. And 50,000 subscribers later, I got canned. All I'm trying to do, I just want to put a plug out and maybe get some new people over here checking out my stuff. He said, absolutely, man, go ahead. And I said, retiredmarinesoundsoff.com. Yeah. I said, truenewspodcast.com. Check it out. And I'm very, very excited about it. I mean, you know, that show has, 2.5 million conservatively every single day. Now, how many people do you think are going to hear that show over the next 24, 48 hours since it's a Friday? You know, I love Dr. Nick Baggage. You know, I really look forward to his down-to-earth practicality. You know, he's with the program. And then you take Matt Bracken. I'm gonna, when I get to talk to Alex again, you know, if he has me on his show, I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna say, man, you need to have, you know, guys like Matt Bracken, guys like John Rappaport, John Rappaport is a freaking national treasure. I mean, when this guy, when he speaks, he's like E.F. Hutton. I think John is like 80 years old. I mean, it blows my mind. If he'd shave that beard off, he'd look 20 years younger. But he is a plethora of knowledge. He's encyclopedic. He walks around. He's just a man. And I heard him on, Alex had him on the early show this morning. Now, this was the first show this morning, American Journal, where Alex was the host and not David Knight. I'm not sure the details. I don't care. I like David Knight, but I could sense that there was a riff. I could sense that there was something coming. You know, you just sense it. And now that David's gone, I hope he does bring people like Matt Bracken, John Rappaport, Dr. Baggage. You know, there's so many good people. And I'll be honest with you, I would be lying if I didn't tell you the truth. Now that I've been on the show, and I think I made a fairly good impression on Alex, and since he did invite me to come back on the show, God knows, maybe one day I can start filling in here and there, you know, a 15-minute segment maybe, and we can talk about things like what we're talking about now. You know, I believe in people seeing the big picture, but yet I know a lot of you like to get down in the minutiae and the weeds. You want to kick the tires. You want to low crawl through the truth. But let me tell you something. Don't you believe a damn word about Russia being involved in hacking. I don't think you've heard DNI, John Ratcliffe, say anything about Russia. If he did, I can assure you it's a ruse. It's disinformation. We know for a fact it's almost all China. There may be some Iranian hacking involved, but it's primarily China, China, China. We are currently at war with China. It has not developed into a kinetic war yet, but it is on the verge. Now listen, I got to tell you about another friend of mine. He doesn't know me yet, but I'm going to introduce myself to him this weekend. His name is Mike Adams, the Health Ranger. Mike has been one of my favorite people on planet Earth for a long time. I've been looking and reading his stuff for many years. Well, he's become even more prolific nowadays as we draw closer to this potential civil war because he's very, very intelligent. I call Mike Adams the new Thomas Jefferson. He's very eclectic. He's very well read, and he's like a jack of all trades and a master of all. That's the way Thomas Jefferson was. Jefferson was, you know, just an incredible human being. And no wonder he penned the Declaration of Independence. Did you know that the first draft was done on hemp? That's right. And last night I did my second episode on my HempWorx Warrior podcast. And we talked about some really interesting things, and I think you'll enjoy it. So if you're aware of that, go to HempWorxWarrior.com. It's a whole nother podcast. Please subscribe to it. If you're a member of my HempWorx team, you absolutely need to subscribe to it because that's where I'm going to be continually feeding more and more information and knowledge that's going to help all of you on my team take it to the very top and beyond in 2021 and beyond. Listen, everybody needs a plan B. Everybody needs a way to generate additional cash flow and do it at not at the expense of other people. But if you're somebody who wants to help people and you want to make a ton of money from home for you and your family, then you absolutely owe it to yourself to check out HempWorxWarrior.com. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to spend my time on these videos and my audios plugging. I don't need to do that. I tell you one time, I say, go here, go there, that's it. I understand why a guy like Alex Jones has to plug so much because you can only imagine the number of human beings that are constantly rotating in and out of his shows. and especially on a Friday with that thing looping around. And I'm so blessed because so many people are going to get the opportunity to hear me talk about living defense that I really believe, I hope and pray by Sunday we're completely sold out. I wouldn't wait around. And I know there's going to be a lot of you watching this video that may be hearing about this the first time, but you go to InfoWarsStore.com and find the Living Defense, and you'll see it's currently 50% off. Grab 2, 4, 6, grab as many bottles as you can, and remember, this year you can give the gift of health and wealth, health and wellness, because everybody you know, love, and care about's got parasites. There may be people you give this product to that will thank you profusely for the rest of their life. I've got people like that with me. Steve, I don't know what I would have done, man. I had no idea I had so many parasites in my body until I took your advice and ordered a couple bottles. Well, it suits yourself. I'm not the kind of guy that I don't do this with my hemp business. I don't do it with anything. I've never done it. I don't drag people across the goal line. I don't twist people's arms and say, you got to do that. No. I look for intelligent, open-minded people that can analyze the facts. If that's you, you go to InfoWarsStore.com, you look at Living Defense up, and if it feels right to you, grab you some bottles. If it don't, see you later. Next. It's all about the individual. But I'm telling you, friends, we're at a crossroads, the likes of which we've never been at in the history of planet Earth. And my first source of information is always Alex Jones. I used to listen to David Knight starting every morning, but now I'll be listening to Alex. I wake up by that early show. So I guess American Journal will be my new alarm clock. Every time when that thing goes off, Steve is up and at 'em, baby. I'm getting my shower. I'm taking my speakerphone in there. I'm getting ready for the day. And I've got my notepad in hand. I'm getting some knowledge. But then while I'm listening to that, I'm going through all these other Gateway Pundit. I look at everything. I'm trying to gather knowledge and information. And that's what a lot of people are doing these days. You know damn well fake news media, to include Fox News, is dead. Oh, I'm still listening to Tucker. I'm listening to Sean and Laura and Lou Dobbs. Lou's, man, you won't, if y'all are not, if you don't record Lou Dobbs over at Fox Business, man, you need to. And also Maria Bartoloma. She's another one I really like. But other than those, to hell with the mainstream media. They're done. And so people are turning more and more to alternative media like this right here. Retired Marine sounds off. Look, I'm just one guy, but I'm 64 years old. I've traveled the world. I've been there, done that, got the T-shirts, had a 3-year tour with Marine Security Guard Battalion back at Quantico. We're the Marines that guard all the embassies and consulates worldwide. I don't need to tell you that there's an extreme screening process to get into that MSG Marine Security Guard program. Was I one of the best? Absolutely. As an officer, I was part of the cream de la cream. You don't get to that unit unless your record book is very tight. Same thing with HMX-1. What is HMX-1, Steve? Well, that's the Presidential Helicopter Squadron. The ones with the Apaches and the Black Hawks and the OV-22 Ospreys. Friends, when I was going around to these Trump rallies, I got to see every type helicopter from HMX-1 at these rallies, and it was a beautiful sight to behold. But I only tell you that not to impress you, but to impress upon you that I didn't just fall off the turnip truck. I got a little bit of credibility. I got background. And so after hearing Alex Jones week in and week out challenge all the veterans in the listening audience to start your own social media channels, This is long before the censorship started. And I said, I'm going to do that. But what it was, the catalyst in my life was the firing of General Flynn. I'm a big, big General Michael Flynn fan, okay? And I praise God every day that President Trump pardoned him. The timing could not have been perfect. General Flynn is popping up everywhere. He's all over the place. He's doing interviews. I'm hoping to do an interview with him in the not too distant future. And, it's just time to reach out. I was talking about Mike Adams earlier. I didn't finish my train of thought. Mike does these great videos every day called the Situation Report. And man, this guy's with the program. He's got great sources. The only one he's missing is me. And that's why I'm going to reach out to him and I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to say, hey, if you listen to Alex Jones' Friday show, you'll hear me on there. But I think that's a pretty good introduction to who I am. But I really want to hook up with you, Mike. I use Brighteon for my alternative video platform. I love your new Brighteon.social. Friends, if there's anybody out there that has not yet found Brighteon.social, you need to go there. Listen, Mike created this as a Facebook alternative. I think it's better than Facebook. It is amazing. It cost him millions of dollars to build it, and it's still in its infancy. Alex Jones is on there. You'll see more and more patriots pop up, but right now it's like wide open. So I was one of the first to get on there. I'm starting to build up my followers. I'm up to over 100 now. And the people, I'll follow back everybody that follows me. Same thing on Parler and Twitter. If you're on Parler or Twitter, you haven't yet connected with me, you can get to me by the @ Steve Motley. That's my handle at Twitter and Parler, and over at same thing over at Brighteon.social. I think it's Brighteon.social/Steve Motley. But follow me and I follow you back. But let me say this to the Brighteon.social people. If I by chance am not following you back, there's something wrong. When I clicked on your website, it wouldn't allow me to follow you. So I don't know what that's all about. But again, I follow everybody back that follows me. So if I'm not following you on Brighteon.social, I'm not being rude. I'm not being stuck up. I just think that's the silliest thing. Why? General Flynn. That's what endeared me to General Flynn. When I first started following him on Twitter, he started following me back. And that's how I've been able to communicate with General Flynn a few times. And I'm getting ready to send him a little video like I'm going to send to Mike Adams. And you might say, well, what kind of video are you going to send him, Steve? Well, I've been involved in video email since a month after 9/11/2001. And I'll go ahead on this YouTube, and I'm going to put my link right down at the top of this description page below this video. I'm going to put a link that goes to my co-video email site. A lot of you have already gone there. You're using video email right now as we speak, and God bless you. I say that because you have just entered the 21st century. Here we are in the end of 2020, and there are still people out there on the internet, in cyberspace, that are not taking advantage of every piece of technology available. I could not live without video email. I don't send boring black and white emails to people. I got a friend that sent me a text on my phone today, and he said, "Congratulations, Steve, you finally made the big time." And I sent him a little text back, and I said, "Hey, Daryl, thank you so much. I'm going to be sending you a video soon." So I'm going to go on my co-video, and I'm going to make a 5-6 minute video and talk to my friend Daryl. I'm going to take that little link, place it in the text, and send it to him. When Daryl opens it up, he'll click on the link, and there he'll see me on the screen with a personal message talking to him. I do that all the time. I'm going to do more and more of that. You should be doing that. Therefore, check out my co-video account. And if you like it, take the 2-week free tour. No harm, no foul. All you got to do is cancel out before the end of the 2 weeks. No questions asked. And I know a lot of you are starting to come on board. You're listening to me. You're using the... Look, at 64 years old, I got 5 grown children, all very successful. Most of you know about my son, who owns that big car dealership called drivenboise.com. You know, he's been in business for almost 15 years. He's honest as the day is long. Have you ever met an honest used car salesman? Well, if you haven't, the next time you're in Boise, stop by boisedriven.com. If you live anywhere in that valley, drop by and see JD. Ask for the owner, JD, and say, Steve sent me. Steve said you could help me if I need a new set of tires. Yeah, he probably could. He could help you if you need a new truck. He specializes in used trucks, but he's got a mechanic section. He does not put out any junk, okay? Now, I didn't set out to give a infomercial for my son, but blood's thicker than water, and I think it's important. I've had people that have watched my videos that have gone right in there and bought something from my son. Call me crazy. Truth is stranger than fiction. You take right down the road from my son's car dealership, I have a friend named Mike. Mike owns the largest Yamaha, Snake River Yamaha. He and his partner, it's the largest Yamaha dealership in the valley. I think they got more than one of them. But Mike is a faithful listener on my videos. You know, I met one of Mike's best friends at a restaurant down in Boise a few weeks ago. Can't remember his name, but he's a biker. And we were actually having lunch, a brunch, I guess, in this nice restaurant. And I saw he had some Trump stuff on. And this, I think this was before the election. Yeah, this was definitely before the election. But we got to talking back and forth, and I told him about my YouTube channel and gave him one of my cards. I used to give out those retired Marine sounds off cards, you know, at the Trump rallies, and my numbers were really going up, and then got terminated. You know, that's the way it goes. But anyway, I was talking to this old boy, and we were discussing things back and forth, and we somehow got on the subject of the governor of Idaho. And his name is Brad Little. Without getting into great detail, he hoodwinked all of us Trump supporters. All of the conservative Republicans, we voted for Brad Little, but he could very well be receiving money from the Chinese. I don't know. We know from that data dump that there are 20 U.S. governors that are on the China payroll. We know guys like Brian Kemp. We know about that Gretchen Whitaker, you know, that freakazoid Como. We know about those types. But who are on that remaining list of 20? Do we know them? I'm sure we do. But today is maybe it's tomorrow. It's either today or tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of the creation of Space Force. And you remember Mike Pence, Vice President Pence, had some play in that. He was supposed to work with them. He's going to some ceremony to represent the president. But now I heard something interesting. I heard that Vice President Pence is planning to take a trip overseas as vice president, leaving D.C. on January 6th. Well, isn't January the 6th the same day that the elector ballots are going to be opened? And doesn't the vice president, who's the head of the Senate, Isn't he supposed to oversee this electoral count? Well, friends, I don't know exactly what's going on, but I do know that that inauguration podium is being built. I have never really trusted Mike Pence personally, and I think the president's had him on a very short leash. But if he's going on a 1 week overseas trip starting the 6th of January, I guarantee you there's something crazy going on. But again, I want to reiterate one point in this video, and that is, do not believe for a second that there is Russian involvement in this hacking of the 2020 election. It is, I guarantee you, 90% China, maybe 10% Iran. But since it's all coming out, all of these demons are starting to expose themselves. Look at Mitch McConnell, married to a Chinese woman and got deep, deep ties all the way back into Chinese Communist Party. Do you think Mitch McConnell wants the Trump administration and all of these wonderful, loyal leaders that Trump is putting in place? Do you think that Mitch McConnell, wants that laundry aired into the public? No. None of these freakazoids in the deep state, they're doing everything they can. We know who all the rhinos are. We know who all the loyal leaders are. We know who all the disloyal ones are. We know that Uranium One touches the pockets of almost all of the political leaders in D.C. currently. Thank God we got a fresh batch of congressmen and senators coming in. We need to completely rebuild the Washington, D.C. political infrastructure because the old one is still riddled with swamp creatures. Now, I'm going to put all of your minds to ease with the 7-day countdown to Christmas. We, as a people in America, and I don't know worldwide, but I would imagine the numbers are the same, we are seeing absolutely record growth all over America as we approach Christmas, as we go through the 7-day countdown to the largest shopping time of the year. The economy is starting to come back, but the demons in certain blue cities, in certain blue states, are locking down the people. They are trying to completely destroy local restaurants, local gyms in New Jersey. They're trying to destroy taverns or bars. They're trying to keep Christians out of churches. And our freaking governor here in Idaho, Brad Little, happens to be one of them that's bought in to the COVID-19 bullshit. So, I have made the announcement several weeks ago that I'm going to give Brad Little a run for his money. If I can get my YouTube channel back up into 100,000 viewers, if I can go over 100,000 on Twitter, Twitter will not let me get over 75,000 in followers. They let me have a bunch of new people, then they take them away. Give me a bunch of new people. It's called shadow banning. But anyway, oh God, I could write a book on that alone. But the fact of the matter is, I am not fully committed. But after I was talking to this old boy at the restaurant, I mentioned to him, I've been thinking about running for governor. He said, oh man, do it. He says, do it. He said, I'll back you. He said, I know everybody in this town. He said, you just give me the word. He said, I'll start getting the word out. And, between him and my friend Mike, now I'm assuming that Mike, the co-owner of Snake River Yamaha in the Treasure Valley, I'm assuming being the longtime friend of mine from YouTube, we've talked on the phone a few times. He's a great guy. I got to get by there and meet him. I'm going to meet him before Christmas. I'm going to swing by and say hi. But anyway, him and I got another guy. He knows a lot of people. They said, Steve, man, just give us a word. Tell us you're going to run for governor and get that freaking guy out of there. Because you know what? You know the first thing I'll do while I'm campaigning, I'm going to go over to South Dakota. I'd make a big, publicity thing out of it, put it on the airwaves. But I would arrange a meeting with Governor Kristi Noem, and I'd sit down with her in her Oval Office or whatever the equivalent is, and I'd say, Governor Noem, God bless you for everything you do, for the example. You lead by example, and I've been watching you for a long time, as have so many people, and we all believe you've got a very bright political future. But I wanted to come over here to South Dakota and actually spend a little time with you and kind of watch you in action and just kind of be a fly on the wall, if you would allow me, because I want to emulate you. And I'm already a patriot. I already believe and, would practice many of the same things that you're doing here in the great state of South Dakota. But I wanted to come over and spend a little time and really watch you and listen. But I want you to tell me your whole take on COVID-19 and the way you're running your state relative to that fake pandemic. And then, I just go from there. But friends, I don't know, man. Call me crazy. Why is that damn Brad Little, just because he owned a big ranch, does that make him any better qualified to run for the governorship of Idaho than Steve Motley? Hey, I'm just a retired Marine. Okay, I'm just a normal guy, but I tell you what, I don't forget my roots. I'm not originally from Idaho. I'm from Danville, Virginia, the last capital of the Confederacy. I got nothing to do with the Confederacy. That's sort of a dubious title. But the fact of the matter is, it is what it is, and I'm not going to change my damn history, nor am I going to let anybody else change the history. My great-granddaddy rode in the Confederate cavalry. Am I proud of that? Hell yes. He followed his heart. He did what he thought was right. So did General Robert E. Lee. When President Lincoln offered General Lee command of all the Union forces, he thanked him but said, President, he said, my state of Virginia comes first. Now, be that right, indifferent, wrong, I don't know. I'm not judging those people in that day. I'm a quasi student of history, but you can't really put you can to a degree, put yourself in their shoes, but that's about as far as you can go. But the fact of the matter is, we have come this far. We're here in 2020, and we are a united country. And we, the people, the patriots of America, are not going to allow a fully bought and paid for communist agent, Joe Biden, to become our president. So rest assured, as you go into the Christmas holiday, when you're out at a restaurant with your family, when you're out buying Christmas gifts, don't you worry about Biden being in the White House come January 20th. It ain't going to happen. Because that election, there's not a human on this planet, if they paid any attention whatsoever, that is not completely in agreement that President Trump, Donald J. Trump, won that 2020 election on November 4th by millions and millions of votes. We've seen it. We've seen the suitcases taken out from under the counters, filled with Joe Biden ballots, put into counting machines. No, friends, the buck stops here. The buck stopped when Donald J. Trump got elected, because he's not one of them. He's not deep state. He's an outsider. He's a businessman. And by the way, I received an email from a friend of mine in, I want to say Holland. It may have been Sweden, and I apologize to that friend if he's watching. But he sent me an urgent email and told me that I needed to get in contact with his friend Mike Adams. I think that's the same Mike Adams that we were just talking about, the creator of Brighteon, the alternative to YouTube, and of course Brighteon.social. Now I think, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I believe I heard Mike Adams saying that he was working on, or was going to work on, a Twitter replacement, like a Parler. There's plenty of room Parlor doesn't need to be the only show in town. And Parlor's already overwhelmed in numbers. So, Mike, if you're listening to this, there's a place out there for a Twitter substitute as only you can create, you and your programmers and your incredible staff. But Mike, if you're listening to this, which I hope you are, I really want to connect with you. I love what you're always talking about the Marines. Man, you give the Marines more accolades. You're like a living, breathing Marine Corps commercial. So don't stop, brother. Keep it up. We love to hear it. It makes our heads bigger, but we like to shoot, move, and communicate. That's our motto. You can use that. It's okay. The Marines don't care. I would make you an honorary Marine. I know you've never been in the military, but you really do know how to shoot, move, and you know more about ballistics than just about anybody I know. I remember when you did that ballistics thing that time on your show. You know what I'm talking about. But I would really, if I was going to tell Alex, I was on the Alex Jones show today, and I really hope you get to hear that second show today on Friday, the 18th. And that's what I wanted to tell all you good people. Please take a listen to the Alex Jones show today, and you'll get to hear our little conversation. I think I was probably on there 10, maybe 15 minutes. No, couldn't have been 15. I don't know. Maybe I'll time it. But I'm hoping to record it and play it back sometime in the future as a podcast. So everybody out there can hear it if they missed it. But friends, listen, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I've been at it for about an hour and 10 minutes. But I do want you to know there are some major movements occurring in D.C. We know that I used to go down, and I still do. I stay at Nellis Air Force Base. Every time I go down to Vegas, my company, HempWorx, is based in Vegas. So every time I go down to the corporate headquarters, with my military ID, I just stay at Nellis Air Force Base. And I've made a few friends with some of the people down there. And so I called the other day to verify the massive movement of troops and the Marines. And yes, it's all absolutely true. There have been massive amounts of troops flying into Nellis. So something big is afoot. I have not completely connected the dots on just what it is. I don't personally think the Insurrection Act will be announced before Christmas. It may. I don't know. I don't have any sources telling me anything. That is very, very tight-lipped. They're under the strictest of security. But I can tell you the War Department, the War Cabinet has been formed, and it has been moved physically out of D.C., as have so many other essential personnel and so forth within the Trump administration, because they're expecting something real big to go down soon, okay? And with the cyber attack, major banks have been hit. There's no major corporation, I don't think, that's had some kind of cyber attack. And it all came from, this new company that's been connected with Dominion. What is the name of it? I wrote it down. SolarWinds. SolarWinds. It's been discovered that the Clintons, the Obamas, the Bidens, and several other criminal, probably the Bushes, are connected to the SolarWinds, which is directly connected to Dominion. And Dominion was using parts or software from SolarWinds, and they now know that it was a malware virus from SolarWinds that has done the hacking, has done the cyber hacking into our national security computers, and you name it. It's a Pearl Harbor type event, friends. And if we weren't at war with China before, and again, Russia's not involved, don't believe a damn word those freakzoid fake news media fabricating liars tell you. Russia is our friend. Russia is working with us. President Trump and President Trump President Trump and President Putin talk quite often, and like I said, their common enemy is the deep state. So don't you worry about Russia. You focus on China. Just like Eric Swalwell. Russia, Russia, Russia. Leading proponent or leading the charge to the trying to impeach our president while all the time he was sleeping with Chinese communists. Friends, the Great Awakening is upon us. People are waking up in large numbers, and thanks be to God that you're one of them at whatever level you're at. You may be brand new, you may have just taken your first red pill, or you may be a seasoned veteran that's been with me over the past 4 years on this Retired Marine Sounds Off. But whoever you are, wherever you are in the world, God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. I hope you have an even better new year. We can make 2021 better, so much better. But President Trump, sir, you've got that bully pulpit. You need to come out every day in the Oval Office and just tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. Tell everybody about COVID-19. Tell the truth about the mask. Tell what the reason for this part of the military operation on the part of the Chinese was all about. Tell the people the truth. Tell them about how we have Chinese military troops up in Canada to our north. We have them down south in Mexico. We are surrounded by Chinese. Does this mean a Red Dawn scenario? I hope not. I pray not. But we better be ready for anything. Why do you think all the guns, all the ammunition is selling off the shelf? Why do you think December is proving to be the largest month for gun sales in the history of the United States of America? Why is it a record number of first-time buyers? I'll tell you why. Because there are wars and rumors of wars. War is in the air. The war drums are beating in the distance and getting closer by the day. Well, friends, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. But again, thank you all so much for tuning in. I do hope you'll get to listen to the Alex Jones show from today. I know many of you listen to it. If you didn't get a chance today, get on there now. I want you to hear that interview with Alex and I. With that, I'm going to bid you farewell. Wish you a wonderful TGI Friday, baby. Get out there, go to the restaurants, mingle in large numbers. Don't wear that stupid face diaper. Let your voices be heard and just be happy. It's a Friday. Let your hair down a little bit. Go into the weekend. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Don't vote Democrat. And don't ever share stupid, lame videos with your friends. Friends, God bless you. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm so thankful that so many of you are finding your way back to my platform, to my home. Welcome home, my friends. I'm here to stay, hopefully. But if something gets taken down, I'll just pop up again. I'm like that damn bozo the clown. Remember when you baby boomers were kids, you had one of them bozos that you blow up and you'd punch it and it would go back and it'd come back up. Well, I'm like that bozo clown. I'm going to keep coming up. Winners never quit and quitters never win. Quitting is not in my vocabulary, and I hope it's not in yours. So God bless you. Have a wonderful Friday, and I'll be talking to you again real soon. Now, don't forget to check out my podcast, TrueNewsPodcast.com. It's all listed down in the description tag. And check out HempWorx, man. You can still join free this weekend, order a bunch of products, and have them delivered before Christmas. I'm telling you, but you got to get it ordered now. Anyway, check out my marketing site, EndlessPaychecks.com. That's right, just like it sounds. Who would not want EndlessPaychecks.com? Check it out. Put your name and email in. If you like what you see, come join me. If not, next. All right, I love you guys. Take care. Have a great one. Bye now.